jump into some battle rap now, man. Let's get into this. So this weekend you were in Connecticut. Was it Bridgeport?
Bridgeport, Connecticut. You're still sharing the draft screen.
Oh, my fault. Appreciate you. Boom. Let's get back to this screen right here. Appreciate you. All right, you were in Bridgeport, Connecticut this weekend. Black Diamond Battle League, an inaugural event that went down. You versus Bangz. Sir, if you could give us a recap, how did you feel like your battle went? How did you feel the event was? So on and so forth.
Yeah, man. Shout out to battle rappers that run leagues. There's a handful of them out there. And I've battled for if I could think about it, Dre Dennis, I've battled for him before. Now QB Black Diamond, you can add that to the list. Sharon orchestrated the event that I battled 100 Bullets at. He's not technically a league owner. He booked the matches, and he did all of that. And I just say all that to say that it's a different monster when you're battling. It's your league. You're handling the financials. You're handling the flights and all of that kind of stuff. And QB Black Diamond, man, she was so good. My big thing is always just communication, making sure we're on the same page with everything. And, they're just super, super professional. Had me taken care of. Everything was great. Bridgeport, I'm familiar with, Connecticut. I've been out to Hartford before to perform. I know that, a lot of those states on the East Coast are so small, man. You're 30 minutes from Rhode Island and then you're here and but I wasn't sure what the battle rap scene, would be like there. I knew QB was from there, and I'm, when you go someplace and you're like, hey, somebody's from there, it's her league, you expect, her people to support her. But man, when I walked into the venue, like it was packed, bro. I was kind of like thoroughly impressed. It wasn't that I had, little faith in what her following or what she put together, but it was more so just not knowing. But I mean, when you're from an area where you're an hour from LaGuardia, Bridgeport, Connecticut is 1 hour drive from LaGuardia Airport, without traffic. With traffic, it's about 1:40. But, you're an hour and a half, 2 hours from Boston. You're like all of that stuff. Philly is down the road. There's just everything's down the road, Mm-hmm. And I forget things like that because when you're in Kansas City, the closest battle rap city is 4 hours away. And the closest one after that's 8 hours away, so it's a little bit more difficult. So, man, the venue is packed out. Shout out to her. One of the things I tell leagues all the time, like you want to do it right, hire Avocado. That's step one. You want to run an event? Cool. Hire Avocado, and that's and Avocado was there. He put on, he had everything looking great. He had the setup looking great. The stage, it was a different type of like the stage, the fans were above you looking down on you, a cool aesthetic to it. And then, like the energy in there was good battle rap energy. I spoke on another podcast. It's like when I battled Bonnie, I had fun on Queen of the Ring, but it lacked life. It lacked energy where, it lacked, that grit, that battle rap feel. Well, Bangz, it was there, it was there, everybody around. So yeah, shout out to QB again for the event. I got to watch a little bit of the battles beforehand, but I was kind of going over my rounds too, so I was able to peep, City Towers and Swave Seva from afar. I was able to see Ines battling from afar a little bit, and it seemed like things were going well.
Debo and Caps.
I was able to firsthand. I was standing right there when it happened, and I just looked over and I was like, "Oh, Debo's here." And then I just watched Debo go from there to there, and then boom, everything just happened. And I was like, yeah.
Never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment at all in battle rap. And it's funny because I saw Uncle Ra when I first got there. And I was talking to Uncle Ra, and Uncle Ra said, Angry Fan was here. He's like, I don't know where he went. He's not here anymore, I was like, oh, word, Angry Fan's here? He's like, yeah. I was like, I've never met him, I've been on his show before. I don't have any personal issues with him at all. Like I go shake his hand, say what's up. But I did say to Uncle Ra, I was like, he probably left before like somebody came in here that's got beef with him. You know what I mean? Like that was my initial reaction. And like that's if that's your initial reaction, you just know like it's probably in that person's best nature to probably not be at events because of, like do your thing. You know what I mean? I'm not saying anything that happened to him was deserved or anything, because I don't think that either.
Yeah.
But my first thought is like, wow, you know, you might want to keep your head on a swivel, because you don't know. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes, you know, I get into arguments back and forth with people, block people, do different things, and they can hate me, and I pull up and be like, they be on some type of time, you know? And like he does that a lot. So not to go off too much on a tangent about the trash that went on, but you know, I said to keep the hammer with me, right? So, and but yeah, so you know, once he said that, I was like, oh, he probably left, you know. And then he came back, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. But anyway, I saw that go down, that commotion, craziness, you know. Once again, QB didn't deserve that. That event didn't deserve that. I'm glad they didn't stop the event from continuing to go forward. It was right after my battle, so I was waiting to go onto the pay-per-view live. I was waiting on Bangz to get on talking, and I was just kind of standing back there. But then, you know, after my battle, there was 2 more battles, which I believe were was it
QB
in 45 Focus? Was that who it was?
I believe so, but don't quote me on that. Hold on.
And then, you know, QB
and Rex, right?
Yeah, QB and Rex. And yeah, you know, like it seemed to me like I said, I was kind of in the back after the battle doing things or whatever. But it seemed to me like, you know, the 1-rounder with QB and Rex, it you know, it brought everything full circle. It was a great battle. Rex was into it. I heard him freestyling up there. You know, he definitely had it was direct material. QB was doing her thing. But yeah, man, overall, just man, it's such a great event, such a great venue, such a great atmosphere. Like, I would love to go back there and battle again. Like, you know, her and I have already talked about it. Whatever we got to do. And then, you know, me and Bangz, man, I think I said it on the show, like, you know, the fatigue and after 5 weeks in a row, bro, like you go fly out, you get there Saturday, you fly back Sunday, you hopefully you get back at a decent time on Sunday, you crash, you wake up Monday. I work, you know, I go to work. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and act like my 40-hour-a-week job is, you know, very, very time consuming. I'm flexible and able to do things, but I still got to be clocked on, you know. And then that Monday night comes and you want to spend time with family or do anything, hang out with you know, whatever to get your mind off battle rap. And then next thing you know, it's Tuesday, and you know you're writing or you're memorizing or you got 48 hours to get ready before you get on a plane. And this is 5 weeks in a row, man. And the fatigue and just everything and just not wanting to write. You know, it's hard to write when you don't want to write too. You know, and so going into the 5th of the 5, you know, I was just like, man, I just really hope that this isn't, you know, lackluster, that I'm able to, you know, put things together and approach this battle. And I was really just hoping, and you never know. I was like, man, I really hope I'm locked in rebuttal-wise. I really hope the atmosphere and everything, the energy just creates an environment to make me just feel good about the rebuttals. And I won the coin toss, and that was one of the biggest things is winning the coin toss, letting Bangz rap, and then just setting the tone from there on. And I think, you know, what you saw was Bangz rapped, and then I rapped, and it was 1-0. And then Bangz rapped, and then I rapped, and then it was 2-0. And then Bangz rapped, and then I, you know, like it just every round, you know, and that's, you know, shout out to Bangz, but I was just clicking on all cylinders, especially rebuttal-wise, performance-wise, crowd control, you know, even the writtens that I did use. I didn't even get to half of my writtens because I cut my rounds just to honor the time, because me and Bangz talked about it before, like, yo, hard cut off at like 2 minutes, you know, it was supposed to be 90-second rounds. Like, it's cool. You know, and I didn't want to abuse that because I'm a good opponent and I stick to my word when it comes to not doing that. Tay Roc, I'm rapping 9 minutes. I don't care what you think. They're going to have to take time on me. But when it came to, you know, my situation with Bangz, you know, I cut my rounds. And yeah, you know, and plus I had done enough. I was going second, you know. I'm feeling like, oh, this round's won. So, but shout out to Bangz. I rock with him heavy. You know, great sportsmanship, fun battle. And he had, you know, a crazy rebuttal, the Josh Giddey rebuttal that he had. I thought was
the 17 over your head.
Yeah, just not like. And I was hoping for a little bit more of that to kind of make it that kind of classic, you know. But I think that's really the only one that hit for him as far as his was concerned. But he had some decent material too. But yeah, man, it was just an overall great weekend. Like I said, 5 for 5, man. I don't care what you think. Like I don't feel like I lost a single battle at all. I know for sure I didn't lose, you know, to Story St. James and, you know, Bangz. And, you know, I feel like I clearly beat Bonnie. I feel like I clearly beat Bullets. And then the 2-on-2 is a 1-rounder. Like, it's gonna be one of those like kind of like preference battles. You know, you got a lot of jokes and everything from Clean and Mac, but, you know, me and Loso were doing a lot of stuff they didn't do. But yeah, I just feel like I clearly won every battle, and that's 6 battles for the year now, you know. And to me, that's 6 wins, and you know, we're coming up on Tay Roc.
Dope, dope, dope. So let's get into that. Ward versus Roc. Announced this week. Going down on the Riot, Orlando, April 28th, man. So how you feel? How you feel about this now that it's officially been announced?
I'm feeling really good, man. I was curious for the announcement. You know, I was curious to kind of see what the reactions were, because Roc's outside, and we talked about he's got 5 battles before me, or he's got 4 more, and then I'm the 5th. You know, and so it's kind of like I didn't want it to get lost in the sauce. But the one thing that Riot does well is they don't do a lot of events, and when they do events, they put together the matchups that are not like, that's cool. You know, they put the matchups that people want to see, not just he hasn't battled him already. Oh, cool. Like, I'll watch it. You know what I mean? And, you know, I think with me and Roc, that's a battle everybody been wanting to see, especially with Roc being the face of URL, me not ever being on URL, it happening on neutral ground, you know. The announcement, I was really pleased with the announcement, what everybody thought of it. And I believe that Roc's not taking his opponents lightly, but I do believe that Roc wants to put on a show against me, you know. And I don't look at it as a situation where he's just like, I need the money, you know, A Ward, da, da, da. I think Roc, out of all of the opponents that he has, is like, I'm gonna beat him. You know what I mean? And that's just a testament to what the respect he has for me. And me, man, I got 40 something days now, and that's just Tay Roc, you know. And I've been doing all these battles on right in the week of, you know, and so now that I got 40 days, there's no excuses. There's never any excuses because, you know, I'm a professional, but like, there's a lot of attention I can put in. I could write 6 rounds, you know, and I could take, you know, the best material of 6 and pack it into 3. And you know, that's what I really want to be able to do, is I want to be able to research my opponent. I want to come up with unique angles and different things like that. Sometimes when you're pressed for time, you're unable to do that. So I want to make sure everything's unique, make sure something's not kind of been said before, make sure, you know, it all applies to them and should be tight knit.
Yeah. Yeah. So you made a little bit of a joke about the time limits. I think when you battled, Real Sick, right? That was something that was brought up of, you know, not by you in particular, but by those who reviewed the battle, who are keeping score, right? That he rapped longer than you, right? And so to me, I find it funny that the response to that is, well, it's a big battle. You got to write 4 minutes. You got, if it's 3:30, you got to write 4 35-minute rounds. So with that being said, if whatever the time limits are, do you plan to write each round an extra minute's worth of material? Or are you just going to stick to the time limit?
No, I plan to write until I feel like that round is done. So that's how I'm going to write for this battle, you know? At the end of the day, I don't believe in cheating. I just don't. I don't believe in knowing that your battle contract says this and purposely going the extra 2 minutes, whatever, unless you've had a conversation with your opponent and said, look, I'm rapping till they cut me off. You know what I mean? Because we're not enemies in this. It's like, you know, like there's not a lot of these battles are battles, you know, like I can hit up an opponent and be like, yo, this is what I'm doing. That's what I did with Bangz the night before. That's what we did, you know, before the battle. Yo, it's 90-second rounds, 2-minute cutoff. You cool with that? I'm cool with that. Bet. You know what I mean? Because ultimately, like you said, unfortunately, it doesn't matter in the culture. Everybody's like, yo, Ward got smoked by Frack and Real Sick. He lost last year, whatever. That's all they go talk about. A Ward's got L's against those 2 guys. You know? I don't want to, it's just not in me. It's just not in me to just go in there and try to rap 5-6 minute rounds, which I could write 10-minute rounds if I wanted to. Like, that's how much I write already. You know, I could do that, but it's just not in me to I have too much respect for Tay Roc. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to write to the rounds finished. You know what I mean? And if that means, you know, going to 30 seconds over, you know, because usually 3 minutes, 3:30 grace, whatever. If I stick them all at 3:30 or whatever, I'm going to stick them all at 3:30, you know? If I feel like the round's finished at 3:10, I'm gonna quit at 3:10. But I'm not gonna purposely just go in there like that. And it's probably, you know, I think you've said it too before. People told me always, Ward, you're too nice. You're too nice, Ward. You don't need to be in this culture. You're too nice. But I just can't. I can't do it.
Don't get me started, because I'll be like 5-minute rounds.
I can't do it.
Start the clock. You at 4:30? No. No, we're not dependent on rebuttals. We need 5 minutes, and then we're gonna have a minute of. See, this is why. Again,
I do have the ability to write extra, and like if in the battle I see that my opponent's obviously decided to cheat and double the time limit, that maybe the second and third round I'm able to lengthen out my rounds. But I think that's what you see too, is like even in those 2 battles last year with Frack and Real Sick, I'm trying to rebuttal because I already know your material is so much longer than mine. You know what I mean? Like and when we're talking about at least 1 to 2 minutes a round, like you got to understand that's like 64 to like 80 bars, of material in a battle. Like that's a huge difference. That's anywhere from like, anywhere from 20, like 10 to 15 to 20 punchlines.
Yeah.
It can make a huge difference when we're on a professional level. So, that, and it's just like, man, I write what I get paid for too. I'm definitely bringing the Bible gun bars. GunBibles versus GunTitles. It will be there. It will be there. GunBibles versus GunTitles. The Gun Line King versus the Bible Gun Line King. We'll have to figure it out. But yeah, it's gonna be good. So
I see this comment from Titans Glide. I don't feel like Big K wrote over the time limit. I think his material was getting so much reaction, he was bringing it back. So his rounds ended up
that's
becoming like
that's a vet move. And Roc does that too. Like he'll say the same punchline again, so that the crowd can say it with him. And that it creates more engagement with the crowd because they're saying it with you and then they're ready for the next one. You know what I mean? So that's a vet move that I kind of learned from DNA. I'm not big on it. Sometimes you'll see me in battles. Like I think against Vixen, I was like, I'm gonna run this one back real quick.
I'm running
you know
back,
what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I want to give that to the fans because I want them to have the ability to yell out, the punchline or whatever.
For sure.
But I didn't think Big K did too much over the time. You know what I mean? And another thing was this: I canceled the first battle. I was sick, right? So when we go into the second battle, I'm not going in there like time, right? Like I made you wait. You probably wrote some more. You probably was pissed off. He's probably ready. You know what I mean? Like that's on me.
Yeah. We gonna make sure he's getting plenty of sun. He's getting the vitamins, taking his Flintstone chewables.
Yep.
Drinking, we're drinking water.
Yep.
Yeah. All that good stuff. All the healthy stuff. Right? Yeah. We doing that. So I'll say this about Roc, man. I know there was a lot of backlash from the committee for him not winning Champion of the Year for being number 7 on the list. I think he's getting a lot of love because he's outside a lot more than he has been in the past, right? Roc normally, years ago battled mostly on URL. He might step out maybe once every couple of years on another league. He mostly battled on URL, but you've seen him now. He's been on OSBL. He's been on iBattle, right? He just was at Black Ice Cartel. And let me put a pin right there and say, if you haven't gotten the VOD for the Black Ice event, go check it out. I thought visually it looked very good to have that cage. I don't know if Ruin Your Day or who was behind the filming of that. I thought they did a really good job. The only thing I hope to see when they drop on YouTube, if they somehow got a camera that's an overhead shot that's looking down into the cage, that would make it it's already great. That would be the cherry on top. But to get back to Roc, he's outside a lot more. He's giving these shots. And like you said, he respects you, right? Like he respects you. He's been, even you had the Damian Priest little line on Twitter and he's like, yo, like, I can't wait, right? So there's a mutual respect there. And while as much as the culture likes a grudge match, right? Like they like a storyline and like a back and forth in the lead up to these battles. To me, some of the better battles are when you have a person who says, yo, this is a great opponent. If I come in here lacking, I'm going to die. And so you're going to get, to me, in this run, and look, Roc's got some names lined up. Like you said, in the 3 weeks leading up to your battle, there's Bill Collector, there's Los Preem on iBattle, and then you. Like those are not
Jones this weekend and then Prep the next weekend.
Like this is, I don't know if he got, AWAR like motivation when he finishes 7th and they go, oh well, Roc, your resume isn't, up to your normal standards. And he goes, oh, okay, well, watch this, right? And now he is front loaded his schedule with all of these names, with you being the one at the end. But I expect that his best performance is going to be against you. Because again, this is granted, Roc versus Los Preem, Roc versus Bill Collector, Roc versus Serious Jones, that has a backstory to it, right? But I think of all of those matchups that have been announced, maybe Serious is probably the more highly and Mama Ward, I'm gonna send you my cash app. But that comment says I will pay my son to drink water while not at a battle. So I'm gonna get it on video. Just send me $1. Send me $1. But I think that outside of Serious Jones, I feel like of all the announcements that have happened for Roc that have been announced, I think this is probably the second biggest of them all. It might be the most anticipated of them all because of the two participants involved. And that's no slight to Bill, Prep, Preem, right? Like those are all phenomenal matchups, and I can't wait to watch them all. But to me, this is going to be the one where you're going to see the best Roc. You're going to get obviously a top-notch performance from you. And I do think, right? I think you talked about this with 3. Go check out the interview that you had with 3 on PSA Hip Hop Reloaded. You talked about like people are already saying like this is battle of the year, right? Right. And you talked about the pressures that come with that of trying to live up to everybody's expectations. I feel like you did that last year with the Verb battle. I feel like the year before that, the Nitty battle, right? And so like I'll say this last thing. It took me a while to come around like you on being a Roc fan, right? When I first got into battle rap and I said, who do I watch? And you said Tay Roc. And so I went and just started put Tay Roc verses. And I remember telling you, like, I don't get it. And there's a tweet. It's the hollow battle, right? I get to the seatbelt bar, in which he was cooking before the seatbelt bar. Like, just to be fair, I get to the seatbelt bar, he says it, and I get on Twitter and I go, I get it now. Mm-hmm. Like that tweet is somewhere in my archives. I tweet you and say, I get it now, right? Like, and ever since that point, like I've been a fan of Roc, and he's a true Mount Rushmore candidate because every time you step out, win, lose, or draw, Roc is giving you his best.
Yeah.
You may not always be in love with the material, but he is giving you the best that he's got every time out. And that is something that, like yourself, like a Danny Myers, like I'm going to throw a DNA into that list, an Av, guys like that who every time you step out, you're getting your money's worth. You appreciate those guys in the culture. And he just happens to be one of the greatest battle rappers of all time. And I think that's super dope.
Yeah, it's a legacy battle too. Everybody knows that, I was a battle rap fan before battle rapper, remember watching Roc, remember watching Young Roc, the videos of like 16-year-old
huge
Roc.
hat. Yeah. Just barking on dudes.
Yeah, man. Just I said it on 3 Letterman PSA Hip Hop, man. It's just like, man, I do consider myself to be one of the best battle rappers of all time. I do. I mean, and I mean that humbly, like just because of the work ethic I put in and what I've done. But I still love meeting people when they say, you battle rap? Yeah. Have you ever, I battle Tay Roc? They're like, you battle Tay Roc? You know what I mean? Like he's one of those names. You know what I mean? He's a Mount Rushmore name. He's a guy that has put in the work, that has been, Mr. Consistent. And it's just really, really cool to see him outside like this, and so, yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm not gonna poke the bear. You know what I mean? I'm not out here to create some, go in spaces and talk about how trash he is or this, that, and the third. If I do say I didn't like a bar or I thought this was okay or whatever, I mean it, but he's Tay Roc, and I'm fully prepared. Well, not only that, it's like, man, you're going to get a little bit of a different Roc when he battles me, and people are going to be excited. Like, it's not going to be the same Roc that's battling Bill Collector, Prep, Serious, Los Preem. It's not going to be that. He's going to be a little different, and it's going to excite people. And I'm happy for that because I think it's going to help put on a crazy batch.
Man, last thing, and we can move on. Are you prepared when whether he goes first or you go first and you end your round, and all of a sudden you get, "Hey yo!" and then the crowd just goes crazy. But he has not spit a bar. He has simply yelled, "Hey yo!" and everybody's going. Are you ready for that? Are you prepared for that moment?
I'm just as ready as in that first round when Verb needed his showtime to come out the gate with, in the first round. And I heard him say it, and I said, here we go. In a room full of St. Louis,
I really cannot. That's one of those things you had to be there for.
Yeah.
I really cannot get people to really understand. Like that room probably had about maybe 200, 300 people, maybe.
Yeah.
And it sounded like 7. It sounded like double. 2-minute rounds. Dang, book me. No. I was just like, oh my God.
This is nothing else. He had to say another word.
Literal goosebump moment. That was like little goosebumps. Like that was crazy to hear a crowd sound like a large room in that small room. So shout out to Tay Roc, shout out to the Riot, shout out to the whole team there. Going down into April 28th in Orlando, Florida. All right, couple of things and we can get out of here, man. Let's go through this real quick. Mike Masters Alliance. They have an event going down this weekend in Salt Lake City. It is 48 in the lake, excuse me. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Every battler on that event is aged 48. I don't know if you knew that or not.
That's hilarious.
I think Marv might turn 49 before, but maybe it's average. It might be the average.
That's what's up. Shout out to them. They got a battle 48 in the lake event going down this weekend in Salt Lake City. You can get the pay-per-view when you do. Choose the rapper that you are there to support.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure they got some analytics running on that lets them know who are the fan favorites, who they should probably bring back out, so on and so forth. So I think there's more. I think it's a 2-day event, but there's only, I think 6. It's 48 in the lake. Of course, it's a 2-day event, but I only have a flyer that has 6 battles in front of me. So we're going to go through those battles real quick. Stretch versus Forward Dev. I will start off. I am familiar with Forward Dev. I'm not familiar with Stretch. So I'm going to go Forward Dev 2-1. I'll give Stretch a round. You, sir. Go ahead.
You saw Stretch. I believe you saw him battle Loso if you watched that one rounder. Loso battled him when I battled Emerson Kennedy, I believe. Stretch.
Yes, I mean I watched Forward Dev on Riot. I watched him in different settings, so I am familiar.
Yeah, I like Dev. I'm talking about Stretch. I was talking about Stretch.
Stretch. My fault.
Yeah. He battled Loso when I battled EK. It was a 1-rounder. I don't know if you've seen it or not. But anyway, Stretch is actually talented. He's a good rider. I just think performance-wise and some of the other intangibles, Dev's going to be too much for him to handle. So I'm going Dev, yeah.
All right, next one, 40 bars versus Fendi. This is a 1-rounder, by the way. The only 1-round battle.
Very interesting. Man, I think Fendi's very talented. I like Fendi a lot. I don't vote against 40 bars and 1-rounders. It's just not happening. 40 bars is 40 bars for a reason, so I'm taking 40.
Except against Loso. But yes, you are correct. Shout out to 40. 40, I also have 40. She's one of the GOATs for a reason, man.
Yep.
All right, Real Deal versus Holmesy, the Gizzard.
Yeah. This should be a really good battle, man. Holmesy is determined to just battle everybody I'm in a crew with and not battle me. So, shout out to the Drosy boys. Marv got him up out of here. Now it's Real Deal's turn to get him up out of here. So yeah, I'm going Real Deal edge. I think Holmesy will be very good. I like Holmesy a lot. This is very I wouldn't say Real Deal's an underrated angler, but Holmesy is a very underrated angler in battle rap. And so I'd be interested to see kind of how he approaches the Real Deal battle, if it's angles or if it's, more just aggression and gun bars and different things like that. Remember Salt Lake City is a different type of crowd. It's a very, very different type of crowd too. So I'm eager to see if some of the people that haven't battled there before, how they'll approach the crowd. But I'm taking Real Deal.
All right, I'm going to go Holmesy. I'm going to go Holmesy 2-1. Dope back and forth, but I'm going to edge Holmesy in that battle. Shout out to Real Deal, though. Real glue guy. Mm-hmm. Real glue guy, real.
He gives it all on the floor. He lays it all out on the floor.
First one in the gym, last one out. You know what I mean?
That's facts.
All right. Next one, Quest McCody versus Rum Nitty.
Yo, how do you pick against Rum Nitty? Is this, you don't, right? You don't. So I might let you do the last couple because I've heard I've heard Quest rounds, I've heard Marv's rounds, and I don't want to, be on here saying, who I think is going to win, how I think it's going to go, and give any kind of any kind of inclination or whatever. But I'll just say this much, Marv and Quest are both professionals. They're completely locked in, man. They're so locked in, and I think they're both going to do incredible. And they're battling Rum Nitty and Av, and this is not a 2-on-2. These are two single battles. So if you're watching this, Rum Nitty versus Quest and Marv versus Av, Rum Nitty is he's Rum Nitty, bro. Like, it's one of those, like, do you really beat Rum Nitty, or do you just put on a classic with him?
And also a Rum Nitty that has not battled in 2024, and I don't think has battled since Foots.
Yeah.
So the alien has literally been sitting on bars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all due respect, I do think we're going to get a great Quest because I think Quest knows what's up. Like, I think he respects the pen of Nitty, and so I do think we're going to see a really great Quest. I think we're going to see a really great Marv as well. Shout out to him. He's got an album dropping soon. Go get that vinyl. I need to go do that. Maybe when I get paid, I go cop the vinyl. But I'm actually going to take Marv in that battle. I think I expect the jokes to be plenty in that battle, though, just from this standpoint, because if you follow Marvin and Av on Twitter, they have a ton of old man, fat guy jokes that they get on. I mean, threads.
Hilarious,
hilarious threads of them roasting each other, going back and forth. And so I expect the jokes to fly in that one. I'm going to go Marv. Marv has been in a different bag lately, man. He has been in a different bag, a different space. And so I think he's going to step up for that one. And then we get to the main event, the Source versus B Magic.
That's going to be a good one too, man. That's going to be a really, really good one. Like, last time I saw B Magic was when he was out there battling Emerson Kennedy, and B Magic was cooking. I'm not going to lie. Him and EK in that battle, Magic was getting busy. Last time I thought the Source, he battled Saga in the 1-rounder out there. Well, last time I saw him on Mike Masters, and he was getting busy in the Saga 1-rounder too. Like, these are two guys that have battled out there before that the crowd's gonna be familiar with. They're already familiar with them. It's two legends in battle rap, the Source and B Magic. But bro, it's tough to pick. I'm going with the Source. I'm going with the Source. In a battle that I think is going to be one of the better battles of the night. And, this is a battle where, not saying that B Magic does anymore, but like a stumble could really, make or break the battle like that, and I trust the Source to be very, very locked in, even though the Source just battled and B Magic's kind of been sitting. So the Source just battled Pepe on King of the Dot this past weekend, but yeah, I'm edging the Source.
I was ready to take the Source, and then you mentioned that he battled last weekend. I knew that already. It was just brought back to my remembrance. And so I am going to go B Magic. B Magic had one of my favorite battles of the year last year versus Arsenal. I forget, there was another battle on GTX where I feel like he did really well. I don't remember the opponent. You mentioned the EK battle.
He battled Low Pesci in GTX.
Low Pesci. Yep. So this Titans Glide says Mama War versus 40 needs to happen. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But no, I got the Sword. I got my names mixed up. I got B Magic. Winning that battle. And so that's our show, man. We appreciate y'all tapping in. To those of you who are watching on YouTube, first of all, we say thank you. If you can, make sure you hit that like button. If you can't, share the broadcast. Even though we're going on the air, just to get us into the algorithm. We want to be the algorithm bulls out here, you know what I'm saying? So we appreciate that. Please remember, you can catch every episode of It's a Black and White Thing by going to the podcast app of your choice, searching for It's a Black and White Thing or Brains and Bars. Give us a 5 stars, share the broadcast, leave us comments. And then you can also check us out every week on YouTube. Again, rate, review, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, tell a friend, it's them boys again. You can catch us on Twitter. I'm at A1THelp. That's all letters. It's A1 the LP. At Brains and Bars. At IM_A Ward. Anything else, sir?
Nah, man, I'm good. March Madness is coming up. Let's go. Let's go.
For sure. Until next time, it's been a black
and white
thing, man. We'll holler at y'all next week. Be easy.
Y'all.
Call your mother, Ward.